want it or need it to feel what is real? Just take it and know that what's here or here is just a lyrical feel. Something you can't taste but feel. You can take it or leave it. It's a lyrical feel. Do you want it or need it to feel what is real? Just take it and know that what's here or here is just a lyrical feel. Something you can't taste but feel. You can take it or leave it. It's a lyrical feel. Do you want it or need it to feel what is real? Just take it and know that what's here or here is just a lyrical feel.
Hey Neo Soul, this is Night. You know what time it is. We are at the ambiance, kind of like closing it out. We had Intellect come and do a nice interview with us. We also want to definitely let you guys know what's going on. We are going to have the live poets, the last poets, I'm sorry, I'm a live poet, last poets at Earthlink Live tomorrow at 8 o'clock doing it up. We're also going to have the last poets performing at Georgia Perimeter College on the 29th. And for all those who know about the Apache Cafe, we want to have the last poets perform incredible evening at the Apache Cafe on the 30th. That's what's going on for the National Poetry Month. We also want to have the interview that's going to be shown for National Black Arts with Miss Sonia Sanchez. I did an incredible interview with her. Big ups to her, incredible lady, wonderful person. We're doing it over here at the ambiance right now. Let intellect shine. But you can also check us out at Neo Soul Wednesdays at 12 o'clock. You know the time because you're watching us right now. And we'll be back. Neo Soul.
And the thing that we must answer in the 21st century, we didn't answer it fully in the 20th century. What does it mean to be human? That's what we've been trying to answer all these years. What does it mean to be human after we were enslaved in a place called America? Look at us. You know, in the 20th century, when Thomas asked me on this last show, he said, what was the most important thing that had happened in the 20th century? And people answered, the bomb, civil rights, and a lot of things. And he asked me lies, and I called on the ancestors to say, help me with this. And I looked up at him, I said, Brother Tavis, the most important thing that happened in the 20th century is that we survived. Black people survived because you go back into the Library of Congress, if you go back into the libraries, at that time, at the turn of the 20th century, they said we would not survive. They said African people would not survive in America. We didn't have the tools to survive. Look at us. Got a mayor here. Yeah, you know, look at us. Look at us. Look at us. And I don't mean that in a chauvinistic way. I'm saying, look at us, you know, that we have struggled and built schools. Look at Atlanta most especially, we built schools, you know, and we keep those schools and we turn out people, black, white, green, purple, blue. We don't care what color you be, just come. If you want to be educated, we will educate you. And we would educate you because the point is that, you know, look at the earth now. This earth is saying simply, if you don't learn how to be human beings and walk upright, I will swallow you whole. And I will wait billions of years for a new species to come out of the ocean. We're saying, no. We can do this. We can do this. We can do this. And that's why I'm here saying simply we can do this. That we can do this as human beings. That we really do know, finally, because we've seen everything you could possibly see. We've seen slavery, we've seen concentration camps, you know, we have seen everything that man and men and women can do to each other. We've seen that camp in Iraq now, you know, a place that we truly understand at some point that we don't do that. We can't do that as human beings. I went to the library, the Schomburg, and a woman by the name of Jean Hudson was the curator. Well, I stumbled on the Schomburg. I'm living in New York, didn't know it existed, but had gone downtown, had answered an ad that said, you know, simply, you know, we need a writer for our firm. I had sent samples of my writing, and I got a telegram, you know, on a Saturday saying, report to work. And by golly, by J people, I said to my father, see, I can get a job writing. See, you want me to teach forever. My father said, just, you know, don't give up that teaching thing, you know what I mean? So I put on my blue suit and my blue hat and my blue heels and my blue purse and my white gloves and went downtown. And I didn't get there at CP time. You know, they said 9 o'clock. You know, I got there at 8:30, people, 8:30 a.m., waiting for them to open up. And the secretary came and I showed her the telegram. And she looked at it and said, sit down. And then there must have been another way to get in there, because all of a sudden a head came around like this, look, and another head came like that. And at 10 minutes to 9, this man came out and said, I'm sorry, the job is taken. I said, no. Telegram. You know, wherever. No one's come in, and he said, the job is taken. I said, no, this can't be. He said, lady, the job is taken. And he left. And as a consequence, I left out of there, took off my hat, took off my gloves, went on the subway system. Now, I'm from New York. I knew I had to get off of 96th Street before I ended up on the east side on 125th Street. But I was so upset I kept going up there. Got off 135th Street, going to the Urban League to report these people, right? And passed by this building that said Schaumburg. I said, Schaumburg? What in the world is this Schaumburg? And I asked the brother outside, you know, taking a cigarette to go inside. Miss Hudson was in a glass cage. I knocked on the door and said, you know, to her, I said, what kind of library is this? She said, oh dear. You know, remember Miss Hudson, who did research in the Schaumburg? She said, oh my dear, she said, this is a library that has books in here only by and about black folks. You know what my young 19 and a half behind said? I said, there must not be many books in here. Because that's how young I was, and that's how uninformed I was. And that woman said, sit down, dear, and I will show you. She brought me 3 books, Souls of Black Folks, Up from Slavery, and Their Eyes Are Watching God. She put Their Eyes Are Watching God on top. I started reading, and after I read about a third, I got up and I knocked on the glass door. I had tears in my eyes. I said, how could I be an educated woman just out of Hunter College at 19 and a half and not read that book? She said, yes, dear, go sit down. And I sat down again, and I read some more. Then I got up again and knocked on the door. I said, what's your name again? She said, she tells the story. She told it to my students every year with that sly smile. And she said, oh, yes, dear, sit down. And the third time I did that, one of the scholars, because they had this long table, all these scholars, these older men sitting there, they said, Miss Hudson, will you tell this young woman either she sits down or she has to leave? And I sat down and I read. And when I read, my brothers and my sisters, and I'm calling everybody brothers and sisters if you know me, I found out about myself. I found out about my history and my herstory. And I started this long search. But I tell you about this search. When you go looking for yourself, you find other people hidden. And so I found, as a consequence, I found people, Jews, you know, in concentration camps. You know, I found Native Americans. You know, every contract, every treaty, you know, in this country, they didn't keep in this country. You know, I found Chinese building railroads out in the Midwest. When you go searching for yourself, you find others, people. And you look up and you say, hey, how you doing? Ni hao. Salam. Shalom. Hola. How you be, my brother and my sister, walking on this earth, trying to be human against great odds. But I'm here now because I've seen all of us. And so I see all of you also. And I just want to, they asked me to read a poem, but I guess, I don't know if I take up too much time. And the poem I want to read is like one of the things that I did for Bill Cosby. Because Bill Cosby called me one night and said, you know, Sister Sonia, you know, I'm going down to do this program, and, you know, we were talking about a lot of things, and young people, he said, where's the fire? And he said, write me a poem. Write me a poem. And I said, oh, sure, I can do that. But I figured he meant write me a poem. You know, write me a poem whenever you feel like writing me a poem. He said, I'll be down in Philly tomorrow, you know. You can leave it in the president's office at 3 p.m. and I'll pick it up because I'm going down to Washington, D.C. I want a poem to read to some young people. And so I did this poem simply called Catch the Fire. Now, one of the themes that we have here, and this is called Catch the Fire for Bill Cosby. Sometimes I wonder what to say to you now, in the soft afternoon air as you hold us all in a single jet. I say, where is your fire? I say, where is your fire? You got to find it and pass it on. You got to find it and pass it on from you to me, from me to her, from her to him, from the father to the son, from the son to the father, from the brother to the sister, from the daughter to the mother, from the mother to the child. I say, where is your fire? Can't you smell it coming out of our past? The fire of living, not dying. The fire of loving, not killing. The fire of blackness, not gangster shadows. Where is our beautiful fire that gave light to the world? The fire of pyramids. The fire that burned through the hulls of slave ships and made us breathe. The fire that made guts into chitlins. The fire that took rhythms and made jazz. The fire of sit-ins and marches that made us jump boundaries and barriers. The fire that took street talk and sounds and made righteous imhotep raps. I say, where is your fire? The torch of life, full of Nzinga and Nat Turner and Garvey and Du Bois and Fannie Hamer and Martin and Malcolm and Mandela. Sister, sister, brother, brother, come catch your fire. Don't kill, hold your fire. Don't kill, learn your fire. Don't kill, be the fire. Don't kill, catch the fire and burn with eyes to see our souls walking, singing, building, singing, laughing, building, learning, laughing, loving, learning, teaching, being. Hey, 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 young brother, brother, brother. Hey, young sister, sister, here is my hand. Catch, catch. Catch, 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 catch the fire and live, 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 live. Thank you.
Once again, folks, we're right here at Neo Soul. My name is Brother Son, your host on this poetic journey. Today we have the world famous Last Poets, folks. All the way from, we're going to find out soon where they are from. Brother Doom here, Babatunde, and Sheo. As you all know, the Last Poets have been putting out music for many years now. Some of the finest in spoken word, and today we have them right here in the city of Atlanta. And we want to first ask Brother Doom where he's from.
Okay.
And how all of them got together.
All right. Well, first of all, I was originally born in Cincinnati, Ohio, but I wanted to take a moment to make a shout out to the birthplace of my mother. My mother was born here in Atlanta, Georgia, in Grady Hospital, and it's just always a pleasure to come back to the home of my mother's birth, and that's just a special kind of a tribute. But I was raised in New York, in Queens, New York, and the Last Poets, the group that's known as the Last Poets, was actually born in Harlem in 1968. In a park in Harlem called Mount Morris Park. The park was called Mount Morris Park then, but over the years consciousness has prevailed and the park has been renamed to Marcus Garvey Park. So that park has still taken on a very strong flavor in terms of culture and development for black people throughout the entire area. So the Last Poets originally came together with an idea from a brother named David Nelson and myself. David Nelson's brother wrote a poem entitled Die Nigga Die, a poem that was misused by a group called NWA. David Nelson had this great idea of bringing some poets together to serve as a collective in poetry, which was kind of strange because poets primarily function individually, and so to bring some poets together was kind of wild, the idea of that as a group. But we were trying to emulate or imitate what was happening with Motown at that time. At that time we were talking about the Miracles and the Temptations and the Four Tops and the Supremes, all these groups, and this idea of this group thing coming at you with poetry, with conscious lyrics, was really one of the ideas that permeated David's head when he decided to ask me would I be down with doing some poetry. And I was down. I was from Queens. I wanted to be in Harlem. I wanted to have that spirit of Harlem because Queens was soft. Nobody respected anybody from Queens. And it's almost like a place where you kind of ran away to get to be like white people. You know, Harlem was like a place where you came and just dipped yourself in the soul sauce, kind of, you know, marinated in blackness. That's what Harlem was all about. So I wanted that very much. And being 18 years old, this was a ticket. This was a ticket for me to get some of that. When David said to me, would I be willing to read some poetry on Malcolm X's birthday in Mount Morris Park in Harlem, New York? I was scared to death. I was scared to death. Malcolm had just died 3 years before that, and this was a celebration of his life in Mount Morris Park with about 5,000 people. And then he said he knew this other guy named Garland Kane that he wanted to have come on stage with us. And I said, well, we got to have a rehearsal or something. So we went to David's house. He lived right around the corner from the park. And we went to his house and we tried to come up with, first we were going to try to sing Ooh Baby Baby behind something, but Kane couldn't sing and David couldn't sing, and I was the only one who could really sing. So that wasn't going to work. So we said no. So I remember hearing a chant at a demonstration that was held at Howard University, and it was a chant. They were trying to get rid of their colored president at the time, and they had this. They were fierce. They had an effigy of the guy hanging from a tree, and they said, "Are you ready, niggas? You got to be ready. Are you ready, niggas? You got to be ready." And it was fierce, and I never heard the word nigga ever said on television before, and that chant just kind of snatched my mind. So when I said, well, let's go up on the stage chanting that. And David had a poem entitled, Are You Ready, Black People? I had a poem entitled, What Is Your Thing, Brother? And Kane had a poem entitled, Niggas Are Untogether People. Unbelievable. And we went on stage chanting that. We had all 5,000 of these people in the park chanting that with us. We had these drummers up on stage. We just told them to stay up on the stage, and they just stayed up there. A brother named Hakeem, who's still around. He's a photographer now, and more than a drummer, it seems. But he was great then. And all of that energy was just happening, and the last poets were born. We didn't have a name, but there were 3 cats who could bring fire and brimstone to you with our mouths, and people appreciated that. Our next gig was at NYU. Just to wind it up, the group went through an evolution. David was ironically one of the first people to leave. Felipe Luciano took his spot. Okay. Yes, Oración, right? That's right. A Rifle Prayer, Ahibaro, my pretty nigga. Yes. Yeah, all of that. Felipe, that Puerto Rican element he brought. When Felipe, Kane, and I, we went to Ohio to do a gig, and Umar was a security person there, because every time black people did gigs back in the days, there's a strong black security force, and Umar was a part of that security force, and we had a little run-in, and we became friends behind the run-in, and he came to New York and wanted to be a last poet. Kane thought he was a member of the CIA, because he just couldn't join a group back in those days. You know, everybody was trying to infiltrate to blow up what was happening. So everybody was paranoid about Umar. And then he looks a little shady. He's a Scorpion. He got that sneaky look, like he may not really be on the square. But the fact is that I felt very good about it. And we would go, I'd take him to eat at Sylvia's for breakfast and lunch and dinner. I hooked him up with a place to stay in the Secret Hotel. So we became real good friends. And then when Kane left the group, the whole thing broke down to where I was the last poet for a minute. And it was really kind of weird, because it was 3 of us. But Kane went back to the village to do some plays. He wanted to do these. He even used the line one time. He said he only wrote poetry to practice writing plays. I mean, he pissed me off with that. You know, here I'm trying to be a poet, and with all my heart and soul, and this guy is just duping me. You know, I mean, but he was aesthetically. I mean, say blackness, say color of earth, say soft maroon, lady, can I touch you? Can I stretch in the soil of your hair? Oh my God! I mean, this is poetry. Forget Shakespeare and Lawrence Ferlinghetti and T.S. Eliot and all those guys. We're talking about the essence of word, with black people coming with that vibration, that God spirit, and coming with the word. It's a special gift. And poets, one of the things that I do feel good about the fraternity of the group is the fact that everybody was true to their craft. Nobody was just bullshit. Like now we got a whole generation of bullshitters. People were just using words just for the sake of the sound and the beat, and they're not using it for the sake of substance and message. They're not taking the word and feeding it any life. They're letting the dead word just continue to be dead, and just use it almost like you beat sticks against a drum. It's not the music, it's not the life, it's not the love. So there's a lot of work to be done still, but we have a lot of people who are in love with the word and the power of it.
Anytime they say that they're against something, y'all know that terrorists. They're actually what? Promoting it. Terrorists. I remember years ago they said that there was a war on what? Terrorists. Poverty. Remember that? War on poverty. Terrorists. And a whole bunch of folks are unemployed. Terrorists. I remember they said there's a war on crime. Terrorists. They build new prisons. There's a war on drugs. Man, we got drugs we don't even know the names of. Terrorists. Now there's a war on terrorism. Terrorists. And George Bush is the president. If that's not a terrorist, goddamn. You can't get no more terroristic than that. Just put the hood on the motherfucker and let it be. You know? Terrorists. America is a terrorist. Killing the natives of the land. Terrorists. Killing and stealing has always been America's master plan. To control the earth and everything on it, to divide and conquer is all they wanted. America is a terrorist. Killing the buffalo that roam the plains. Killing and slaughtering animals was turned into a game. Giving blankets contaminated with smallpox to to the natives who were here, the beginning of germ warfare, the beginning of white fear. No respect for the land, the trees, or the air we breathe, and Christianity was an excuse to bring others to their knees. America is a terrorist with a slave system in place to take away the humanity of a darker race. Put people in chains, then beat them with whips, made them give up their names, those who survived the slave ships. America is a terrorist, chewing tobacco and eating swine, being mean and nasty to those who treated him kind. Take a pregnant black woman, cut her belly open, let the fetus fall out, stomp the baby in the ground. To instill fear is what that was all about. Gang upon a black man hanging from a tree, then cut him down and set him on fire for everyone to see. America is a terrorist with a howdy-doody grin, using the Bible to keep others in check while America commits all the sins. Thou shalt not kill is not part of the American dream, because to kill is a thrill they love to show on your TV screens. Romance the gun just for fun, drop a bomb just for charm. This is the American way. All this talk about equality, justice, and peace spewing out of the mouths these governmental beasts. Every time blacks tried to find a way to do for self, the American terrorists wasn't having it, and fears all black folks felt. Rosewood was a town where blacks tried hard to thrive. White folks burned it down, and many blacks lost their lives. There was a town in Oklahoma called Black Wall Street, where blacks had homes, a bank, and lots of money, and stood strong on their own 2 feet. But now the whites nearby were jealous and just couldn't stand seeing blacks do so well. So they dropped 2 bombs on the town and created a living hell. America is a terrorist, feeding off racism and greed, not caring, not sharing, but enjoying watching people bleed. Every time Jack Johnson fought and beat a white boy in the ring, white mobs in New York City would kill blacks at random because a black man was boxing's king. And all the wars we fought to try to win respect at home, but when the war was over, we were never treated like we belonged, but rather the subjects of experiments at Tuskegee and other places. Over 400 years, blacks have lived in fears of the vicious cruelty of the racists, tried to march for justice and the civil right to be treated fair, attacked by dogs, fire hoses, beaten by police, forced to live a life in total despair. Bombed the church in Birmingham while the children were in Sunday school. Took the lives of 4 little girls. Yes, this terrorist was just that cruel. American terrorism is like a virus that's homegrown and spreads across the planet too, selling guns and chemical weapons, gift wrapped in red, white, and blue. Soldier boys selling guns for hard drugs in exchange. It should be obvious by now that this country is deranged, and yet we stand and pledge allegiance to a flag that brings lots of grief. Singing a war song every day is America's only belief. America is a terrorist and no one wants to admit. And pointing the finger at others is the ironic part of it. Dropped a bomb in Philadelphia to wipe out an organization called MOVE. Killed all women and children because the police had something to prove. And all the Black Panthers who were trying to help their community, wiped out by the FBI for trying to create black unity. Put drugs in the hood, set folks up for no good, kept unemployment high, education is laced with lies, turned the people against each other, made money more sacred than your mother, caused an avalanche of grief by trigger happy police, locked a black man up in jail, made him think he was born to fail, and no place are you safe if you have a darker face. Henry Dumas, Amadou Diallo, Michael Griffin, Yusuf Hawkins, Elmer Bumpers, Anthony Byers, Arthur Miller, Emmett Till, James Byrd, just to name a few, died at the hands of American terrorists. No terrorism here is nothing new. And AIDS has become an epidemic all over the world where black people live. An evil virus created by mad scientists for people who only have love to give. The KKK, the Michigan militia, and the police from coast to coast are the real American terrorists, and the government is the host. So now America is ready to engage in World War III, because what goes around has come around, but you can't kill what you can't see. Jessica, care more, please.
This is called War, and I wrote this for black women who struggle to keep black men alive. So I'm gonna give it to my husband Sharif too, and to my son Omari, and because there are lots of wars going on. The biggest one is with ourselves, though. We got a lot of work to do. I don't don't know why I was born in the year of survival. 1971 guns gave me revolutionary reasons to run. Sleepy time woke me up in a nightmare that couldn't bear to watch my brothers die in my arms again. Wipe off my weapon in the sin. Celebrate the end when shit's about to begin. I grew up a woman with fresh blood and voices left on Detroit red streets. Found little time for little girl choices. It was long before I was confused by square-shaped cement blocks, but Daddy worked his whole life to make sure I was made of bricks. Realized warriors got new names in this tar baby cover road. Ain't no place like home, ain't no place like home. Don't work when you wearing shell-toe Adidas. Still I got to carve my name in this foreign land while it was still wet. This before boys, revolution, and being born in a female fetal political position didn't make sense yet. Still I started loving you early, having big brothers and Pisces, Daddy. Help me remember you despite the times they worked to turn me against you. Despite the times I watched you doing the same to me. I never stopped being your eyes, struggling to find your dark reflection in the Nile, Black Sea, Detroit River, Lake Minnetonka, Mississippi, Masala, Brook Shields, cornfields, fish kills, Atlantis, Indian Ocean, the Red Sea, Niagara Falls, Poland Springs, the River Styx, whatever Memphis, cause I know you like cornbread and grits. Spongy for my body, chocolate cool, still nurse you on chocolate milk. Yellow girl still brown on the tips. For my body, you were ripped, so we signed these trees. Feel I climb out this madness, reciting childhood nursery rhymes. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch your beautiful brother walking right past you by his corn-faded locked afro. If you forgot you were his queen, then simply let his ass know. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Tell him you speak yo, Yoruba, French, fish fry, down south, dirty, Guyana goatee, patois, Creole country, Swahili slang, backyard barbecue, watch your back, cinnamon Dominican, and he will again recognize his sister in hot sauce tongue. We date duality, blind by love, by birthright, and first sight a jet plane could have been a kite, but one of them's gonna get you home faster. You wanna know your answer, just ask her. They're killing my forest, so I'm saving my seeds. They're killing my forest, so I'm saving my seeds. Got black men going out of Yellowstone trees, planting the back in our soil, make our rivers boil 7 million degrees. After all the destruction, saving my family is the goal. We know the young is old. We know the young is old. What if I told you I grew up on cornflakes? Found out I was ready to Oshun by mistake. Discovered diamonds out of my fingernails or getting my weekly womanicure. Statistics tell me you're not available anymore. Statistics tell me you're not available anymore. 25% of you in the anti-melanin pinia, walking out St. Nicholas Avenue every day, searching for a brother who speaks the same sign language, prays 5 times a day, never lose that space, got jokes today, right at the D train. He remained muted by his brother Kane. She wants to show you around the way girl wish, struggling to find hips that understand her kids. He missed the point altogether, and he'll continue until he's able. Me, I'm that nappy-headed girl who tell your future in a job blue afro sheen. Written out ghetto, can only get you need to name your fears by first name. Brothers in the best game, hot by bringing like she got some honey wine in my pocket, hiding poetry under old silver locks, growing roots under bushy ponytails, and this is who you're marrying, this is who you're marrying, this is who you're marrying. Marry the woman you found too familiar, remind you too much of what you represent in this country. Ain't it hard, baby, ain't it hard, baby, being as beautiful as we are, masquerading king chameleon, skewing African canvas glows in the dark. I've been off a piece of that art. That's why black men's minds are doubly smart, be cussing you out in pairs. Got ivory going from under her hair. Damn, Jessica, don't you smile, child, for a little while. This morning I was on the front lines of the fruit stands, but selling our babies fruit covered in plastic saran. Make your own man ashamed to hold your hand. Combat casualty, casualties in the desert to taste exotic waters when I'm the well. Now I need new religions, chakra protection plans, maps to the center of the earth, make a right at the birthmark. Accelerate when you smell fresh air again. Speaking of sexy breathing techniques, I'm a silent freak, a slow bleed you can easily ignore if you're not listening for the drip in the middle of the night. Give me a reason to write, give me a reason to write. This is not about a fight, you lover, language breaker, American straight suburbanite invader knocking on all of our doors. But you, I'm always at war, 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 always at war.
I hope you enjoyed that. This is Neo Soul. This is Night. You know what time it is. Peace and blessings. You guys stay tuned next week for more eventful things going on. This is Neo Soul. Wrapping it up. Showing much peace, love, and blessings. Get at it, girl. Peace and love. Neo Soul.